These are some of the holiday foods that I remember from childhood. My parents were good providers. Like many parents, they had emotional problems and they had troubles. I was the first child. There's an old dry joke. The first child is an experiment. Get it? Shortening bread. This is commercial biscuits. But my mother used to make shortening bread with real natural ingredients. That's not to fault the commercial manufacturers. From childhood, I remember a popular song called Mama's Little Baby Loves Shortening Bread. And so do I. My mother's shortening bread. For the holidays, Prima, the best of the best. As a child, she used to spend hours baking for the holidays. To use an old German word from the old world. Sie war ein Hausfrau, ein gutes Hausfrau. These were one of the commercial products that she would buy. Cherry cordials. Making chocolate is a very complicated and difficult procedure. So, even back in the 1940s and 1950s, it was a lot easier to buy chocolate than to make it. Though she did make chocolate cookies and fudge. But this is the commercial brand. This is the commercial brand that she would buy in the 1940s and 1950s for Christmas, for the holidays. See, I'm not afraid to use the word Christmas. I use the word holiday or holidays in deference to the other religions because I don't want to offend anyone. I'm not in this world to offend people. Within my limited scope, I try to make people as happy as I can. This is another commercial brand of candy, sweets my mother would buy for the holidays, only around Christmas time. She grew up in the Great Depression of the 1930s, so she was very careful how she would spend her money. But apparently this is from her childhood. They're ribbon candy. Hardtack candy, actually. I was never fond of hardtack, but I think she was, because her brothers went off to World War I, and my understanding from history is that in the holidays, around Christmas time, they would give the soldiers hardtack candy, such as the ribbon candy. So that's probably where she got it from her childhood. But I was never fond of hardtack for some reason. It never impressed me. But these did. You might call them, metaphorically, Lifesaver Storybook. And our Christmas stocking, you could be sure that my parents would put I know I'm destroying the storybook, but I have another one right here. We'd always find these in our Christmas stocking. So you've seen these candies before, but I always liked them. This is one hard candy that I really liked. I especially liked the lime, the cherry, and the lemon. She also, with her own hands, used to make what she called snowballs. They're like donuts rolled in floured sugar, powdered sugar. And she would make them herself. And of course, the holiday gingerbread men. She didn't make ginger men per se, but she would make ginger cookies with her own hands. I don't know why she never made gingerbread men. Just as we never had a gingerbread house. The only time I had a gingerbread house was when I bought one myself as an adult. This is an assortment of biscuits or cookies. And I bought this assortment because though she didn't make all these types, she did make the sugar cookies. And though she didn't make these were kind of her favorite. They're a sugar cookie with a chocolate filling in the center. And she would eat these in the holidays. And again, these are sugar cookies. And though she didn't make this particular type of cookie by hand, she did make cookies with chocolate syrup or chocolate icing that she would put on them. So I just wanted to show you for kids, for children, when we were younger, it's peculiar, strange, that we never did get fat. Maybe it's because the food was different back then. The processing was different. And maybe because there were a lot of real ingredients, natural ingredients, and not so many chemicals. And also, maybe because we were very active children outside. If I remember correctly, the first television that I saw was in 1948, and it wasn't my television, it was a neighbor's on the other side of the street. My father got a television shortly after that to watch the Saturday night fights, boxing and wrestling on Saturday night with a friend of his. But most of the time, the children would play outside with their bicycle or the little red wagon. Yes, I had a radio flyer, little red wagon, that I would pull up and down the street. Yeah, I think kids played outside more 1940s, 1950s. But this was the Christmas holiday food. Sugar cookies, what my mother called snowballs, basically donut holes, gingerbread cookies, candy ribbon, and these Christmas trees are like sugar cookies also, and she would make them by the dozens, by hand. I hope your Christmas and your holidays are good, and I wish you the best in the coming year. Thank you for watching this video, and a Happy New Year.